Now we'll talk a little bit about tips for keeping up with the legislature during the session. There are a couple of resources on our AIC website. The first is our blog, which provides updates on legislation of interest to city officials and other important hot topics. You can check out the blog on our AIC website at idahocities.org under the Resources tab. There's also the AIC Bill Tracker, which provides a list of bills that we're tracking by number, which is also sortable by topic. And the tracker includes AIC's position on the legislation, the bill sponsor, and the up-to-date status of the bill. You can also access the full text of the bill and the statement of purpose and fiscal note, as well as a detailed bill description. The tracker can be found under the Legislative tab on the AIC website. If you're interested in participating or testifying at a committee hearing, you can find the House and Senate committee agendas online at the legislature's website with the address that's on your screen. To follow floor debate and vote on a bill, you can monitor the bill's progress on the House and Senate third reading calendars, which are updated daily, and the third reading calendars are available on the legislature's website. The closer a bill is to the top of the third reading calendar, the sooner it will be up for floor vote. It's difficult to predict exactly when a bill will come up for debate and vote because the third reading calendar is often shifted and bills are considered out of order. And this happens more frequently later in the session. And debate on bills can range from just a couple minutes to hours in length, depending on the particular bill and how controversial it is. So it can be really difficult to gauge how long it will take. But the closer the bill is to the top of the third reading calendar, the sooner it will be considered. There's also live streaming video of the House and Senate floor action and JFAC committee meetings available on the legislature's website, as well as live audio of House and Senate committee meetings. So you can access that through the Idaho Public Television's Idaho in Session website at the address that's on this slide. The legislature also has archived audio and video of floor sessions and committee meetings. For those of you like me who don't have enough hobbies to keep them properly occupied, you can watch in your spare time archived video of the House and Senate floor sessions and audio of committee hearings. So again, you can access that through the legislature's website. And as we've been discussing, the legislature's website is a tremendous resource. The address is on this slide. It has lists of House and Senate leadership, member contact information, and committee rosters, House and Senate rules, legislation from the current session going all the way back to 1998, listed numerically and by subject. It has links to the Idaho Constitution, state laws, and administrative rules. There are publications, including the Legislative Directory, which is a great resource, and the Statement of Purpose and Fiscal Note Drafting Guide. There's also the ability to have your own custom bill tracker, which is a recent development and a very good one that allows you to track bills that are important and receive email notifications with status updates. In addition to the legislature's website, there are some blogs and other online options for keeping up with what's going on. Probably the best single source of timely information is the Ion Boise blog, which is by Spokesman Review reporter Betsy Russell. Betsy's a veteran of the Idaho Legislature, and her blog is just a tremendous resource. We're very fortunate to have Betsy as a reporter in Boise, and she follows everything that's of significance and reports on it as it's happening. So that's a really great source of information. There's also the Idaho Reports show, which is Idaho Public Television's weekly show featuring hot topics and interviews with policymakers. And you can watch that on television or on demand on the Idaho Public Television website. Melissa Davlin of Idaho Reports also has an outstanding Idaho Reports blog that features analysis of political issues. And the Idaho Statesman has a capital and state blog that also covers this territory. We'll now talk a bit about some of the more important issues cities will face in the 2016 Idaho Legislature. And the first on the list, the most important, is urban renewal. A legislative interim committee looked in depth at urban renewal reform this year over the summer and fall, and it's expected that the committee and legislators may introduce legislation that would restrict the use of tax increment financing for public buildings, including city halls, libraries, and administrative buildings. That is tremendously important. AIC has been actively engaged in this process, and we're going to keep city officials up to speed on what's going on, be watching for the urgent action reports as they will be coming out on urban renewal, and be prepared to contact your legislators. We know that's going to be a very important issue this session. Records retention is a little lower on the totem pole in terms of significance, but it's still important. AIC is working with city clerks and city attorneys to draft authorizing legislation to allow for electronic retention of permanent records. So I've been working on that, and it's been a great process in cooperation with the city of Boise and the city clerks from the larger cities that have been engaged in that process. AIC is also supporting legislation that will be sponsored by the city of Boise to allow catering permits to be issued for festivals of up to 9 days in length. Currently, the maximum length for catering permits is 3 consecutive days, and so this is becoming an issue, particularly in Boise, as they have the Tree Fort Festival that spans several days and other festivals that go over the 3 consecutive day limit for catering permits. So this legislation really should be a pretty common sense proposal to extend those catering permits and end circumventing the law or trying to get around it by using various strategies. AIC is also supporting legislation sponsored by the city of Caldwell to provide a process for determining if decades-old cemetery plots will be used or if they can revert to the city or cemetery district. This is a big issue for city cemeteries, and we appreciate the city of Caldwell's leadership in drafting this proposal, and we're very supportive of it. We're also supporting a proposal by the Idaho Consumer-Owned Utilities Association that will broaden the public records exemption for critical information relating to water, sewer, and power infrastructure. In today's environment, these infrastructure really represent a threat for potential terrorism, and so there's really a need to ensure that vulnerability assessments, plans, other information, security information for computer systems and other things is protected from being disclosed to anyone who might want to cause harm to the city and its citizens. Public defense is another really important issue. Idaho is being sued in federal court over the adequacy of our system of providing public defense for indigent criminal defendants. It's not clear that the will exists this session to make dramatic changes, but the governor did set aside $5 million in his budget to provide grants for public defense, improving public defense services in the counties. So we're definitely watching that closely and very engaged on the public defense issue. Another issue that cities have been very engaged on is behavioral health crisis centers. And we were very pleased that Governor Otter proposed funding for a new behavioral health crisis center in his budget. There are 2 existing centers in Idaho Falls and Coeur d'Alene, and AIC has strongly supported these facilities. They are a less expensive and more effective alternative to hospital emergency rooms for people with acute substance abuse or mental health issues. AIC is also going to be actively engaged on aquifer recharge, and our board of directors voted to support a proposal by Speaker of the House Scott Bedke of Oakley to spend $5 million annually in state funding for statewide aquifer recharge projects. Two other issues that AIC will be following include workforce development. Governor Otter proposed $3.8 million in his budget for workforce development and addressing areas where businesses are struggling to find qualified workers. And also, Governor Otter included $5 million in his proposed budget for startup costs for transitioning Eastern Idaho Technical College into a full-fledged community college. That will be another important issue. So with that, thank you very much for your time and attention. I hope you've found this presentation to be useful and enhanced your knowledge and understanding of the legislative process.